Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center and I'm here with Madeline Zima with her movie Warm Human Magic. Let's take a look at a clip.
Hi, Mom.
Honey, did you just wake up? What are you doing?
I'm eating breakfast.
Honey, I never wasted time being heartbroken over a guy. Whenever I wanted to get over one, I got under a new one.
Oh, Mom. This isn't the 70s. You can die from sex.
Madeline, thank you so much for being here. It's so lovely to have you. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
So the Logline is that it's an anti-romantic comedy about a girl who is desperate for connection but unable to extricate herself from the technology that keeps her isolated.
And why would you not want to see a film with that great synopsis? That's what I want to say. No, I thoroughly enjoyed your film.
Thank you.
And what I loved about your film is that I felt like, you know, you could find parts of yourself relatable to that character and going through that kind of experience in your life.
Yeah.
Where did the inspiration come from you creating this particular story, which you wrote and directed?
So it very much is grounded in experiences that I've had in my life, and especially in my 20s when I was just so uncomfortable in my skin. I'm still uncomfortable in my skin.
We all are, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. So we're all uncomfortable and we're trying very hard to get a connection. And I feel like that's what people are all really missing in our world, especially nowadays with technology, and our connection to our devices has overridden our connection to our humanity. So.
Let's just put that one in quotes because I love that, and that's absolutely true, and I think it really is. And I think sometimes as well, you know, there's that kind of feeling of being social and being antisocial, and then the sort of social network, so to speak, as well, and how we kind of don't communicate as much like we are now because we're sort of caught in our devices. And then this story goes into, you know, her journey and going through a difficult, you know, experience, but then like wanting to find her friends, you know, and people that she can actually talk to and to communicate with. And do you kind of feel like we've got to a point in the world where we are a little bit sort of anti-socially social as well?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like not only are we not as social as we pretend to be on social media, but also we are trying to keep up with this insane demand of going every single place, meeting every single person. It's overwhelming all the time. It's everything at once all the time. And that's what life is like in 2018, and it's exhausting.
It's exhausting,
and it's
isn't
also very difficult to get present with whatever you're doing, to be where you're at and actually experience it, let alone appreciate what you have in front of you. So yeah, I hope that this film shines a light on that in some way. Was the intent.
Oh no, it definitely does. And how was the experience for you having something that you've wrote and then going in to direct this film and having your great cast together? How is it for you bringing a cast together and bringing your crew together? What was that experience like for you with this project?
Man, it was amazing. I had to do so much by myself. I had an amazing producer, Brett Saxon, who works at the Jimmy Kimmel Show. But at the same time, I also had to be my own PA and run around and pick up gear and be stuck in traffic. And, you know, I did all the clothing, I did the makeup, I did a lot.
Yeah.
But getting to hear it out loud, the table read, my sister and Chasen Bauer, Yvonne Zima and Chasen Bauer, read it out loud, and I was like, oh man, they're both so good. Like this is like more of a reality. And then we set a date and got things together pretty quickly once we figured out where we could shoot. And it was when we were actually shooting and I got to see them together, and I don't know, I was like dancing behind the monitor. Like, so I'll post this video at some point, but there's like a video of me like looking like this when I'm like, the take is going well, and it's just like, oh, it's so exciting. You know, when it's working, the whole crew and everyone feels it.
Yeah.
And when it's not working, you can feel that as well on set, because it's this overwhelming like sag of energy in the room, but when it's working, it's so exciting and everybody wants to contribute to this like moment. It's such a beautiful experience.
And your words coming off the paper and into action, which must be such a thrilling experience, like you just said. I think what's so nice as well, it's also very commendable when you share something that has personal elements to you, and then you're able to share that with an entire audience. They're like, that was me too, or I felt that too, or they can relate to that. It's quite a powerful experience, isn't it, I imagine?
It definitely is. When you've written something that you laugh at and that other people laugh at it too, you feel this sense of connection. It's another form of connection to people around you where you feel like they get it, or like they get things that I didn't even see, and that's also cool. That's the thing about art, and I think someone said it last night. I'm sure it's not the first time to be said, and it'll be said again. That once you make when you make something, it's yours, but when you share it, it's the audience's, it's everyone else's now.
That's right.
And each one gets something different out of it, which is just an amazing
it's
thing
amazing
about
thing,
art.
isn't it? Yeah, no, exactly. No, I think it's wonderful. Now, I was really wonderfully shot as well. Like, I really enjoyed it felt very personal. Like, I was really kind of there in the room almost, you know, and kind of going through this experience. You know, you've come from, you know, literally, Madeline is been on many incredible projects, which has been wonderful. And so, what's it like being a sort of young person and being in front of camera, and then now being like behind camera as a writer director? How does that kind of differ? Is it kind of different for you? How does that feel?
It's very empowering, and I feel like I finally get to synthesize all the different things that I've learned and absorbed over 30 years of being on movie sets and television sets, and seeing people do amazing work in front of the camera. I got to do a film with Renee Zellweger that almost no one has seen.
She's the sweetest thing in the world.
She
Oh
is.
my God, man, she's so lovely. I love her. We
So
love you,
incredible.
Renee. Yeah, she's sweet.
I love you, Renee. And also, it was with her and Forrest Whitaker and Nick Nolte, and I just got to watch these incredible artists do their thing at the top of their game, and I was just watching them going, oh my gosh. And so getting to use and synthesize all these different elements that I've absorbed over the years feels really great. It feels like I got to expand a new part of my creativity, that I got to take a breath of fresh air as far as like my artistry is concerned.
Yeah.
As an actor, you're at the tail end of the creative process, and you kind of try to erase yourself to fit in a mold.
Yeah.
And as a writer-director, you have complete ownership over the story and over the journey, and it's different. It's very empowering, and I'm so grateful that I finally got to do it. I've wanted to direct since I was little, so.
Well, I'm sure they feel very empowered to be working with you as well. So, you know, really. Now, like, obviously you said you took on many roles, and I think sometimes understanding all the roles in filmmaking, whether you're set design or getting the costumes or just, you know, PAing on your own film, whatever it may be. What was the biggest challenge you faced in making this one?
The biggest challenge? I don't know. There was just some technical difficulties, like I said last night about the camera that we got, which we got on a trade, which was great. It was a great camera, but it was missing the cord, so we lost about 2 or 3 hours in the beginning of the day of our first day of shooting, so that was a little rocky. But then when we got the cord, Will brought it over, which was wonderful, and we got shooting, and we finally got a groove going. But it's tough. We got everything done in 2 days, and it was a lot of shots and a lot of material. The first cut of the film was almost 18 minutes, so it's like a lot. It's like doing almost a pilot-length thing in 2 days. But it was so, I would say the biggest challenge was probably just fitting everything in those 2 days, but we got it all, and it cut together, which was just amazing. So.
Yeah, no,
you never know.
You never know, do you? But no, it's really a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
What's it like, you know, taking this from, you know, you sat there and you're writing this story, and then, you know, it's evolved into you going to production and putting on this whole film, to then having a whole new audience, like NewFilmmakers LA, for example, and seeing it in front of people. What is that feeling like?
It's incredibly exciting and thrilling, and just getting to hear, I don't know, just getting to hear an audience resonate with something, and getting to share it with different people. I want as many people to see it as possible, whether people like it, they don't get it, they have questions, they're like, you know, any response is good. My entire aim as a filmmaker is to make someone feel something.
Yeah.
So if I accomplish that in any way, if I get a response, then I've done my job. Not just making something cool or making something that is, you know, fancy, you know, photography. You know, I want to make something that resonates and that pierces through to somebody's subconscious.
Yeah.
And hopefully they look at themselves or their life, or, you know, they question things. I remember when I saw Amelie for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was so moved by it, and it opened up my world. And film is an amazing art form in that way, where it can change someone from the inside. Very few, almost no art forms, well, I mean, like music can do it as well, but to leave that lasting imprint on somebody that lasts for years and years, that's an amazing gift. So I just want to make more films. That's my main goal.
Oh, I feel like I got a bit of goosebumps right there. That was really true and very liberating. And I think, you know, when you have the most powerful platform of people being able to see and feel and through all of their emotions, I think that's a really wonderful thing to feel, isn't it? And to be able to create that as well. What is next for you?
Well, I just did one day on a film with a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be in it in the end or not, but it's the Untitled Roger Ailes project with Charlize Theron and Margot Robbie and Nicole Kidman, and it's like, holy moly.
That tiny cast, right? I was like, what?
And Mark Duplass and John Lithgow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I hope that I make the cut, but we'll see about that. And then I'm just auditioning and then trying to get my next short film made, and I'm waiting to hear if I get into a director's workshop or not. So hopefully I do, but we'll see. I don't know.
Hands down, she should get into the workshop. But
I hope so.
And you're working with your sister as well.
Yeah. So and then our main next small goal is to either film the pilot of the web series or film the short film that we wrote. So.
Now you've accomplished so much. In, you know, being so young, you've just accomplished so much.
I started young. It's
well,
easier when you start young to be in a lot of stuff.
But I mean, I think it's, and watching the change of just how we are as humans, in that evolving through that course of time, you must have seen a lot of changes and been told a lot of different things. Is there anything in your career thus far that's kind of stuck out for you, that is something that you go by, or a piece of advice that you follow? Is there something that you would share with any filmmaker who would love to follow in your footsteps?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's a couple really great things, advice that I've gotten personally, and then advice that I've absorbed. When I did that film with Renee Zellweger and Forrest Whitaker, I was watching Forrest, you know, take notes and stuff, and I couldn't help myself. I just had to ask him, you know, how do you do what you do? How do you do that? You know, because I want to know, and I'm not too scared to ask the question. And he said, you know, it's just got to mean something to you.
Yeah.
And that resonates for acting, it resonates for filmmaking. Another thing that's in the same vein is I went to the Festival of Disruption a couple weeks back, and Francis Ford Coppola was speaking. And oh my God, I think I fell in love with him listening to him talk, because he was just magnificent and so generous with the audience. He even had people come up and played a theater game with them, which is just insane.
Amazing.
But he said, and I think it's advice that he got from someone else, but I'll attribute the quote to him, which was that he said, if you don't laugh, the audience won't. So you have to make something that you like. Yeah. And really don't try to please someone else, because everyone's opinions, it's not their film. Yeah. At the end of the day. Take in criticism or take in notes, especially if you get the same note over and over again. You should look at that. But then you test it against yourself and trust yourself. Yeah. That's one main thing in our society that we're not taught how to do. Yeah. In fact, we're taught to go against it all the time. Yeah. And it's not right. Yeah. You should learn and develop that inner voice that says what's right and wrong, and use that and trust that over and over again. Yeah, I could go on and on.
No, I love this. This is a great education for all of us and here in the room and all of our viewers. So thank you very much. I think one thing you picked up on, which I think is a great thing, you know, which you asked, you know, Forrest Whitaker, is that, you know, don't be afraid to ask a question. I think we're all too afraid that everybody knows what they're doing.
When
really no one knows what they're doing. They're like, we're hoping we're going to have a good film. We're hoping it's all going to be great. But, you know, we should never get to a point where we're never going to get to a point where we're like, oh, I've achieved and I've done and this is all I need to do. We've always got to be constantly learning and evolving together, haven't we? So I love that, you know, don't be afraid to ask the question as well.
Like what Bob Dylan said, you know, if you think you've got it, you're done. You know, you've got to constantly go back to the drawing board and evolve as an artist. If you think you've got some kind of system figured out, you're lost. Because the truth is that you have to always start all fresh when you're starting any creative endeavor.
Well, if you weren't inspired, I don't know what, because that was wonderful. Thank you, Madeline. Honestly, thank you so much. Thank you for your film, and we're looking forward to seeing many more of your projects, whether you're behind the screen or on the screen. We'll support you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madeline, everybody.
Yay.